What is up, everybody? I am on my second cup of espresso today, so I feel great, and I hope you guys have fun with this video. So if you are not a Cinema 4D user and just an After Effects user, do not worry. If this video ever gets 150 likes, I'm going to put up a pack, I'm not sure what to call it yet, for free, of a whole bunch of different shots you'll be able to composite inside After Effects to create your own app promos. So I'll probably do like 10 or 12 different product shots that you can composite. So if you want to jump ahead 10 minutes and skip the Cinema 4D portion and just how to composite this, feel free to, or if you don't want to watch the video at all, that's totally okay, of course. So let me play this for you. We'll jump into it. Alright, so Sunshine 2.0, totally fake app. I don't know what it does. I don't know what this screen is. It's just random content. But I'll be showing you how to create external compositing tags and compositing tags, as well as using the stage tool inside of Cinema 4D, exporting that over to After Effects, and then compositing 3D layers in After Effects onto your moving object. So sounds fancy, it's really easy, and this will definitely get you some jobs if you do any freelance stuff. So it's worth watching, and I hope you guys enjoy. So let's jump into the clean app promo in Cinema 4D and After Effects, sorry. So open up Cinema 4D, and we're just going to create our cell phone body real quick. Go up into your splines here, and let's select a rectangle spline. So that looks phenomenal. Let's just turn our width down a bit to something more phone-like. So it looks like 265 is going to be the number I'm going to use today. I think I'm actually going to make it tablet, and just in this one I just put little extra elements, but we'll keep it nice and easy for today, and you guys can add whatever you'd like to your animation. So in my rectangle spline, I'm just going to turn on rounding and turn my round radius up to about 20, and that's just going to give it a nice little bevel there. So holding Alt, go and select an extrude, and that'll automatically get dropped onto our rectangle. Looks great. So I'm going to press C on my keyboard to make my extrusion editable, toggle this guy down and select all my children, right click and go to Connect Objects and Delete. Delete these two selection tabs real quick, and I'm just going to call this Tablet Body. Or I guess just tablet. So let's create our 2D, 3D object. And how we're going to do this is go into your materials here, double click, and let's call this first one dark tablet. And I'm going to turn off my specular layer as well as my color layer, turn on my luminance layer, and let's just make a nice charcoal black. And I'm going to drop this right onto my tablet. So if I do a quick preview, the background's kind of dark right now, but it looks like it just gets rid of the edges if you have your luminance channel on. So that's kind of a sneaky way to fake a shape layer inside of Cinema 4D. So I'm also going to just duplicate this dark table, and I'm going to call our tablet, and I'm going to call this light tablet. And I'm going to create a little bit of a lighter color, and also drop that onto my tablet. So now if I preview it, obviously it looks like a different color, but we're gonna have to do something to fix this. So what I'm gonna do is select my tablet and go into my polygon mode, press V and go into my selection menu and select a loop selection, and just actually sorry, a ring selection is what I wanted, and just select this outer ring of my tablet. So we get that. Go up into your select menu and do a set selection, and I'm just going to call this outer tablet. And then on my dark layer, I'm going to just drop this outer tablet into my selection here, and I might have to actually move this to the back. There we go. And as you can see, we now have some definition to our fake 2D object in 3D space. So that's kind of a sneaky way to go about making a tablet. And now let's just create our front here. And so what we're going to do is create another rectangle, and that looks good. And let's just turn our height down just a little bit. Since I'm making a tablet, it's going to look a little different, as well as my width here. So I'm going to do 240 by 370 looks pretty good, and I'm going to turn my rounding on and also turn this to 20 just like we did before. So let me drop this into an extrude right here, and what I'm going to do is actually just set on my extrude in the Z area, set it to -1 just so it actually comes forward towards us. So as you can see, we get it popping out just a little bit, so it's very subtle, but it will work great. Alright, so with that set up, let's on our extrude, which I'm actually going to call screen, right click your screen, go to Cinema 4D tags and external compositing tag. So what this does is send 3D data to a compositing program. And what we're also going to do is create a solid layer that will be able to composite in After Effects. So I'm going to click this option called solid, and I'm going to set my size X and size Y a little bit larger than our width and height here. So I have 240 by 370. So why don't I make this 250 by 380, so it's actually larger than what we need. And I'm just gonna go over here and change my color to maybe a green, so it really sticks out, a nice neon green. And we're not gonna see that option pop up in Cinema, but when we export it and import it into After Effects, that solid layer will be there. So that looks pretty good to me. Now what I'm going to do is just press C on my keyboard to make this editable and select all my children, right click and go to Connect Objects and Delete, and I'm just going to call this Screen. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. One other thing I'm going to do on this screen layer here is add a compositing tag, and Cinema 4D tags compositing, and I'm going to turn on my object buffer and enable object buffer 1, so we'll be able to use a mask. So that looks great so far. And by great, I mean it looks okay. So with that set up, let's go and create our quick camera movements with our stage. So what I'm going to first do is just create a camera object and click into it, so it's live in our vision or our view. And I'm going to set my rotations all to 0, as well as my X and Y properties to 0, so my tablet is centered right in the middle of my screen. I'm going to set my timeline to 10 seconds. And I'm just going to go forward. Actually, I'm going to start on 0. I'm going to just zoom back a little bit and set a keyframe, and then go forward to about somewhere around a second or so, and just zoom in on my Z space. So we're actually zooming into the tablet. That looks good. I'll set another keyframe. If I go back in time, it's going to just go forward exactly like we keyframe. So that is perfect. So I'm just going to zoom back a little bit in time to about where my keyframe is still moving, and create another camera. So I'm going to create a camera, and just go into the view, do Alt-G to place it in a null. And I don't know why this works, but if you put your camera in a null, you're going to get smoother rotation. So that's a trick. I don't remember where I learned it, but it always seems to help. So yeah, we'll do that. So in my new camera, I'm just going to reposition it and get a nice, classy product shot that we always seem to be seeing these days for these apps. I'm actually going to turn off my grid. That's just annoying right now. Where's my grid option? So just turn that off, and we have this nice view of our app or our tablet. So I'm going to keyframe here and go forward a little bit in time to maybe around 5 seconds, and just go over to this bottom corner. So we'll get a nice diagonal rotation that we're going to show off all the nice features of our Sunshine 2.0 app. And let's just see if this plays all right. So I'll play it, and we have a nice smooth rotation. In the middle, I'm actually going to just zoom out a little bit and set another keyframe. And this is just going to, I have auto tangent set on. So if you select your keyframes, just make sure this option is selected, and that's just going to make everything nice and smooth. And so we don't have to tweak anything. So if I play it, we're now going to get a nice view of our awesome product. So let's select our camera and go back a little bit in time and create one more camera. So I'm going to create another camera. I'm going to use my null trick, so place it into a null, call this layer cam2, click into my camera, 0.1 or whatever it came in as, and just come up to the top of my app here. Right about there, looks good. And zero out my rotation properties if I can. Might have to figure this out a little bit better. I'm not going to worry too much about how it looks. If I put up this free pack, if this video gets 150 likes, I'll definitely make this look a little bit better, because I'll spend some time putting it together for you guys. So this looks just about fine. Let's set a keyframe here, and then we'll just zoom to the very end of our animation and put it over on the left side of the screen, so we have some room to make some text. And that looks all right to me. So I'm going to just set a keyframe here and go to the middle and just make sure that it's going to get that rotation we want. So I might zoom out a little bit, reposition it, and set another keyframe. So that looks good. Now right near this end, what we're going to want to do is actually rotate our tablet. So just select your screen and your tablet layers, go back a little bit in time to when it's starting to rotate, set a keyframe on that, and then go towards the very end and just rotate it so it looks nice and classy. and we could really show off whatever screen we decide to end on. So that looks phenomenal. So I'll set a keyframe, and now when I play it, we're obviously going to see some cameras moving around, but our camera is not moving until we get to the keyframe. So let's create a stage object and drop our cameras into it. So just go up into your environments here and select a stage. And in your stage object, we're going to be animating our cameras. So obviously we're going to want to start with this first camera. So just with your stage object selected, drop your camera into your camera position. That's very self-explanatory. And let's just hold Command and click this camera icon right here. So it turns red and we set a keyframe. So now when I play it, it is playing on that first camera, but I want to jump over into the second camera. So as this is playing and the second camera starts to move, I'm just going to drop my camera, the next one, into here, and set another keyframe. So this means at that keyframe, we're going to switch cameras. So now when I play it, it's going to zoom in, it's going to rotate over onto this one, and then I want to come into this last one. So maybe about here, I'm going to go into my last camera and set another keyframe. And there we go. We have a nice 3-shot for our app promo. So I'm actually playing it backwards, but we'll play it through, make sure it looks good. I'll show you the render settings and we'll jump into the rest of this video. So as you can see, we have a nice little animation happening. We'll have room for text right over here. Looks great. We did it. That was awesome. And it's super easy, like I said. So let's go into our render settings and we're going to turn off ambient occlusion if you have it turned on. Let's go into our multipass settings, turn that on, right click, go to object buffer, make sure it's set to group ID 1, which would correspond to our compositing tag we put onto our screen of compositing tag 1. That looks phenomenal. Let's go into our output options, make sure it's set up right, 1920 by 1080 for me. I'm going to set my frame range to all frames. Awesome. And now let's go into our save options. Make sure you have the alpha channel turned on so we have a nice unmatted background. We're going to go into our file and pick a location. I'll be saving this to my desktop into a folder called phone, since it's a phone, and I'm going to call this main for the main animation. And let's also turn on our whoa, what did I do there? That looks stupid. So I'm going to just go toggle down in here, and on my multi-pass options, I'm going to actually unclick this multi-layer file because I want it to be separated, and also just save this in here. So I'm going to save it as OBJ for object buffer, and that looks good. My compositing project file, I'm going to want the 3D data as well as the save option. So that looks good. And I'll save this onto my desktop as phone and or Ohan in my case. And there we go. We're all set up. So what I'm going to do is just click this picture viewer render and let it render into my picture viewer. So this is probably going to take about 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm just going to pause the video and come back as soon as it's done so you guys don't get bored and hate me. So let me pause this for you. Alright, so we're back. That took 3 minutes and 25 seconds for this entire render, which is obviously pretty quick. I just didn't want to bore you guys. So it looks great. Let's go check our folder, make sure everything in our Ohan came out correct. So I'm going to go into my desktop here and just check my folder, and it looks like I got all my main passes done as well as my object buffer. So at the top I have this main.aec, which is a fake After Effects file. If you don't have Cinema 4D, don't worry about it. You don't have the plugin, but I will save that little free pack of product shots for you in a format you can open if this video gets 150 likes. So of course it's free. I'm not selling it or anything. It's just because I love you guys. So let's click into our main.aec and it should open up inside of our After Effects. And as you can see, we have a main channel, a solids folder, and a special passes folder. Let me show you how this works. So in our main folder, let's double click into our composition. We have our wonderful tablet animation coming in here, as well as this really awful neon green, which we put in on purpose, believe it or not. So there we go. There's our tablet. And as you can see, I can play it, and it looks like I spent some time making this, which I guess we kind of did, but not really. And it kind of has that 3D look to it. So what we're going to first do is create a solid layer in the back. So Command Y on your keyboard. I'm going to be doing a nice green, or maybe I'll go kind of like an orange. Why not? Let's go a tangerine orange, put that in the background, and I'm just going to drop this to the back of my layer. There our tablet is. Looks super fancy, very awesome, and fantastic. So okay, so I have this screen here. It's bright neon green. I'm going to show you how this works. So first what we're going to do is go into our special passes, and that's where we have our object buffer. So let's put our object buffer above our screen here. and it's going to go all negative on us. Let's switch that. So on your screen layer, just change this to a Luma matte, and we now have our neon green cutout with rounded edges, which is perfect. So on our screen layer, let's add some content. How we're going to do this is do Shift-Command-C on your keyboard to pre-compose our layer. An important thing to note is make sure you have leave all attributes in main, because we're going to want our 3D data to stay where it is. So I'm going to make sure that is selected, and I'm just going to call this screen. And now what I can do is we have this whole animation going, and I can just click into my screen, and it's a 2D layer. So if I change the background here, I'll make it a white, I guess, just to be nice and easy. I can change whatever I want in here, and it's going to be actually changed in our composition because it's a 3D layer. So how awesome is that, guys? If you learned something, leave a like or drop a comment in the video. If this video gets enough likes, I'll put up that free pack for you guys. Man, I feel like I'm really selling stuff today. Must be that espresso. So anyway, let's click into our screen, and I'll show you how you can go about compositing this to make it look awesome. So I'm going to click into my screen layer and do Command K on my keyboard to see my properties here. So it looks like I have a 250 by 380 ratio here. And so what I'm going to do is first, if this isn't selected, lock the aspect ratio. And then I'm going to just double the size, I think. So I'm going to set this to 500, and it'll be 760. Obviously, it's too large. I'll just scale this up quite a bit and lock that layer. So there we go. We now have an oversized screen here, and the reason I'm doing this is because it is going to otherwise look very pixelated. So obviously this is too large, so I'm just going to scale this layer down, and that's not going to affect our 3D data, but it should be fine. So anyway, let's just save this real quick to our desktop as maybe phone comp for phone composite, and click into your screen, and let's just remember the size of this composition. So it's 500 by 760. So I'm going to go into Illustrator, do Command N on my keyboard to create a new composition, and it's 500 by 760. So let's put those numbers in here. We now have the same screen size that we want to animate. So let's just real quick create a fake little mock-up of an app, and you guys can obviously spend more time on it if you like. I'm just going to keep this nice, quick, and easy for this video. So maybe I should select some better colors here, because these are pretty horrible right now. So I'm just going to go with this color scheme. Looks fine to me. So set that up, and let's just create some random icons real quick. So I'm going to create a polygon, click in the middle, and I'm going to obviously recreate that wonderful sunshine app that we made at the beginning of this video. So you guys, obviously, if you don't want to, you don't have to watch this portion. It's pretty easy, basic Illustrator stuff. I'll show you how to separate all into what we want, separate all the layers and whatnot if you haven't had any experience with that before, and we'll do that real quick. And I'm only going to do one screen so you guys don't get bored. So I'll just make that. I now have a nice little sunshine icon. I'm going to get rid of my stroke on the outside and just duplicate this layer and scale it down a little bit. And there we go. We have a wonderful sunshine looking app. I'll just add some text in here real quick. I'm going to call this Sunshine 2.0, or maybe I'll call it 3.0 because I already made 2.0, and the app just did so fantastic in the App Store that I thought I would release a new one today. And once again, if you didn't catch it, this is a fake app, so don't go on the App Store looking for it because it does nothing and it doesn't exist. So I hope that doesn't ruin your day, but yeah, that's what it is. So I'm crazy today. So let me create just a rectangle for a fake little start button. For anybody just coming to this app, I'll drop this on there, and just send this to the back real quick. And we have sunshine. I'm gonna change this to start what? I do not know. That looks fantastic. And I'll just scale this down. There we go. We have a wonderful start menu here. I did want to change the color, and just add a quick little circle or some content up at the top in our menu bar, because that is what Apple is all about, showing that information in the menu bar, because that makes sense. And just one more thing, I'm going to put the time, so I'll use Open Sans, and I'm just going to type 12:10. That's not even the right time, but I don't think it matters for right now. So just real quick, we are almost there. Content is almost done being made. Fantastic. Just scale this down quite a bit. Great. and I will just drop this up at the top in this menu bar. That looks absolutely fantastic. So in my layers panel, I'm just going to go into my little menu here and go release layers to sequence. All my layers are going to separate, and that is going to save us time. So I'm just going to highlight all of these and just pull them out of that one layer and delete this layer. Make sure my color mode is set to RGB, so it's for computers and not for print. I'm going to save this to my desktop, just right here, and I'm going to call this like sunshine. And that looks great. I'll save it. So then in After Effects, what I'm going to do is do Command I to import this. And I want my Sunshine app. Make sure you have import as composition to retain layer sizes. Say open. It's going to open. I have my Sunshine layers all separated. So what I'm going to do is just copy these onto my screen layer here. So do Command V. There is our Sunshine app, and it's all inside of here. That looks so fantastic. I might actually want to move this one to the back here, but let's just do a quick little animation to get this all together. So man, these layers got a little unorganized, but that's okay. Just fix it real quick. Why not? After Effects likes to keep us on our toes. I think I selected these backwards, but that's just fine with me. All right, so I have this all in there. So now if I go to my main video here, as you can see, we have our app just in all its glory, Sunshine 3.0, and you can obviously animate this as much as you want to your heart's content for all these different product shots. And if I play it, it looks like we are just incredible at, I should actually probably size this a little bit better. We're cutting off some of our wonderful app. Yeah, so you can make that fit better, but so yeah, this makes us look like we are just incredible with After Effects in no time at all. This is why I love Cinema 4D. It just is such a great tool. I don't work for Maxon, but I love it. So hey, Maxon, if you're watching, hire me. But anyway, I hope you guys had fun with this video today. I'm not sure what else to show you. Obviously, you can take all these different layers that we did and do whatever crazy animations you would like to do. If I just want to go forward a little bit and maybe animate my position and just do something like this and just make it super exciting. Let's see if that animation happened. Yeah, there we go. Check that out. I have a little dot and it just, whoa, that is amazing. So anyway, guys, I hope you had fun. Leave me a like or drop me a comment. If this video gets 150 likes, I will put up a pretty nice pack of all these different product shots that if you don't have Cinema 4D, you can use for absolutely free. This was Matt from Mount MoGraph, and as always, guys, get your learn on and have a great weekend. See ya.